Okay, well, first things first, I would welcome everybody to pick up one of these flyers before you leave. It kind of is going to summarize what I'll share with you now, but I think moving forward before rebuild really is to know what's on your property. Because there is a kind of a liability. You know, you've got some workers coming to your property. If it's not covered, if it's not protected, then they're exposed, right? And then there's the potential for that risk exposure. So first and foremost, get the ground covered. Okay, whether you do it yourself or you hire a professional to do it. We're out there, right? You've got the Center for Care, you have soil domains, you have community compound, you have ourselves, but hire a qualified, experienced, if you want to go down the certified route, again, industrial hygienist is not what you want for soils testing. Our process, if I could just go into our process, we kind of chunk it out. We definitely want to establish some baseline conditions, so testing, of course, is very important. Let's get the testings done. Let's see the whole profile of CAM 17, the hydrocarbons, and then we discuss if you want to go further with asbestos or VOCs or the PFAS and the others. We're able to turn that around for just the metals and the hydrocarbons within about 7 to 10 days. We can actually come back to you and sit with you. That likely you won't get from, free testing, right? You're going to be sitting around for a little while and then time's ticking. But with an entity like ours and the crew that we have, we're going to be responsive to you. You're fronting some money for this, right?
How much does it cost?
So on the phase 1, it's running about 1,500, 1,520-ish. And what we're adding to the mix is biological testing. So we are using a microscope. We are looking to see who's still living under the ground in your soil. And if they're not, we note it. So it's very data-based or data-driven to know the baseline. That's pretty much across the board because it just covers time, it covers the lab expenses, it covers just some of the overhead on all of that. Once we get the results back, we sit with you after 7 to 10 days and we walk you through your results. Every single analyte that comes up as detected, we're going to walk you through where that falls along the continuum of thresholds that exist from what public health has put out as far as guidance thresholds, whether you're hearing that your levels are safe, you want to ask what level are you comparing that to? And we will share with you what the lowest regulatory published thresholds that we have found. And then you'll know where you are on that continuum. And then you can decide for yourself, whether that's an actionable level, like Harry had shared that term is actionable level, that you want to now take it to phase 2. Phase 2 is the treatment. Phase 2 we can mobilize within a week. We have all of our vendors in place. It's just a matter of phone call, get the materials covered. We have compost already being made, biologically diverse compost being made in Altadena from Altadena's own materials. We're in business partnerships with various restaurants in town and our local horse stable. As well as the tree trimming companies. So not only are they calling us for drops, but we are calling them to redirect all of this organic material to keep it in Altadena. After 2 weeks of that application, we're going to test again. We want that quick snapshot, of how the biology is doing that we reintroduced. And then if the chemical profile is actually ticking down. And if we're seeing that, then we're like, okay, let's keep doing what we're doing. And then we will add a native seed mix to the treatment as well, because that's the secondary step to the process. We've got to have healthy soil in the ground before we can support the plants that are to grow. and then accumulate whatever metals that we want to extract. So we're coming at this from a two-pronged process: sequester, mobilize, as well as extract. But then what happens after that? Then there's part of this phase 2 is extraction, but we have to manage that vegetation as well. And we have to test that material as well to track whether that metal has been transferred from below ground to above ground. So I'll have that data to share. In 3 months' time, we're going to test the soil again, and we're going to test the compost that we make from the vegetation that has been extracted. And then phase 3 is actually, this all can happen before build. This all can happen very closely to grading operations. There was a client that was very concerned about, their architect and their general contractor saying, no, you can't do it now. You have to wait until after build. Well, they didn't consult with the expert, on whether or not that was okay to do. We're okay with it being trampled on and mixed in and moved around, right? The biology is going to be in the mix. Right? So as long as we keep it hydrated and as long as we are ensuring that the conditions are optimal for the biology to continue thriving and maintaining their presence, then fine, push it off to the side, continue with the grading. When you're done, bring it back over and let the biology continue. The seeds will be there to germinate down the road. So this is not a one size fits all. There's got to be a lot of communication that needs to happen between the general contractor, the architect, the landscape designer. Please don't wait to bring on your landscape designer until the end, because these landscape designers do need to know about this process as well. And again, as far ahead of the curve and of this process you have your soil experts participating in this, the better. Because now we're able to educate, right? We're able to bridge that knowledge gap around this new topic of soil microbiology and how it interfaces with the plants and interacts with the contaminants in the soil. And those costs from phase 2 can range anywhere from $3,500 to $9,500. Okay. It's not a one size fits all. It's also going to be very dependent on what your results show in phase 1. So we're not going to give you, a full blown, number, but we do know that it's probably 1/10 of what it would cost to mechanically remove the soil, right, off-site, to create unintentional secondary impacts off-site in another community or in a toxic landfill, that can receive hazardous waste. We're just compounding the problem if we're dismissing it and we need to diffuse and dilute. We need to extract and manage properly and intentionally. So.